Hola a todos, buenas tardes o buenas noches, espero que estén bien. I feel like I should start off this video with two quick apologies. Firstly, sorry that I have to do this video from home. Here's my kitchen. I am going to try to do future videos from school, but for whatever reason, like the internet is not that the internet isn't working, but the site isn't working, like the recorder doesn't launch properly. So for now I'm going to have to do them from home. I'll try to get that figured out by the next video that I upload. The other thing is, sorry in advance for any baby noises that you hear. My son's just kind of pawing around our house, so if you hear, like, if you heard that, for example, it's just him doing this thing. So, anyway, the concept we're going to take a look at today is called La Voz Pasiva, or the passive voice. The notes that you'll see right now are associated either with what you were given today if you were in school, or if you weren't in school, I'll attach them to the post that I upload with this video. So, real quick, I'll try to keep this short and sweet. La voz pasiva, again, the passive voice in English, hopefully, maybe, is something that you're familiar with. And it's just a way of basically restructuring a sentence to draw attention not to the person or the thing that is doing the action, but the person or the thing that has the action done to it. So, for example, I could say something like, the man ate the cookies. In this case, it's just, an active sentence of a subject, a verb, and an object. The man, the subject, ate the verb, which is the verb, the cookies, which is the object, the direct object, the thing being eaten. But la voz pasiva, or the passive voice, is used in Spanish as in English to draw attention to the recipient of the action as opposed to the agent of the action. So, that is its way of drawing attention not to the person that does the action, but rather the thing that's receiving the action of whatever's being done. So you see with my kind of poor little arrows there, an example of an active sentence, what I just said, would be the man ate the cookies. The man, subject, verb, ate, cookies, the object. What you could do is you could invert that in such a way that draws attention to the cookies instead of the man. You could say something like, the cookies were eaten by the man. In this case, you're making the verb itself passive because you're having a to be with what's called a past participle. Don't worry too much about the grammar terms, but it's just basically a way of shifting attention to the thing that's receiving the action. Now, you might have learned about this in English class, and maybe at some point you had an English teacher tell you not to use this, because it's true that, especially in writing, if you overuse it, it tends to weaken down your ideas. It's better to use active sentences, or so it's said. But that being said, this is still a way that obviously we communicate both in English and in Spanish to communicate these different types of ideas. So the way that works in Spanish is actually basically word for word the way that it works in English. If you take a look at the passive sentence that I have here, it's the cookies were eaten by the man. So you have kind of 5 different elements here. The thing that's receiving the action, the cookies, some form of to be, in this case the past tense were, eaten, which again is what's called the past participle, the word by, and then the agent. That is the person or thing that's like doing the action of eating. So in Spanish, again, you can translate it almost exactly identically. In Spanish, what you do is you would have your sujeto, so the subject of the sentence, in this case the thing that's receiving the action. Some form of ser, like we have to be in English were. Participio pasado, which is just past participle in Spanish. The word for by, which is por, in this case. And then the agente, or the agent, the thing that is actually doing the action. So if I were to take my my active and passive sentences, the man ate the cookies and the cookies were eaten by the man, and translate them into Spanish, I could do them one of 2 ways. In Spanish, literally the translation for the man ate the cookies is what you see down here at the bottom. El hombre comió las galletas. You see comió is in the preterite tense and the past tense. But if we wanted to invert that and put that sentence into what's called passive voice, all you would have to do, let me see if I can get everything. It's alright. So there should be an L in front of this AS over here. But anyway, you can invert that using the formula that you see above, the sujeto plus ser plus past participle plus por plus agente. So you'd say something like, las galletas fueron comidas por el hombre. Again, the exact same idea of like a man eating cookies, but it's just drawing more attention to the cookies. The cookies were eaten by the man. Chicos, a couple things to keep in mind. One, your forms of ser. So this could be in any tense that you could possibly want. He's okay. It could be the present tense, so like es, son, whatever. It could be in the preterite tense, fue, fueron, whatever. It could be in the imperfect tense, era, eran. It could be in any tense that exists. Also, keep in mind your gender and number agreement with this past participle. In this case, we're talking about galletas. Galletas is plural feminine noun, right? It's more than one thing, and it ends in as. It's feminine. So you have to make sure that your adjective agrees with that. Fueron comidas por el hombre. We're going to get into this past participle idea, this participio pasado idea, a little bit later in more detail. But, and I think you might have seen it in Español Tres with Senora Bayshore. But just a quick reminder of how this is formed. Past participles, or here's PPs, are formed, by dropping the AR, ER, or IR of any verb. So like hablar, comer, or vivir. Drop the AR and then add either ado or ido. So hablar, you drop the AR, it would become hablado. Comer, drop the ER, turn into comido. Vivir, drop the IR, turn into vivido. That is the way that you form them regularly. But, as always, Spanish is not just that simple. There are all kinds of irregular past participles, which we'll take a look at. But if you want a handy-dandy list of what those are, you can find them on pages 15 and 16 of Una Vez Más. If you look at the grammar book at Una Vez Más, you can find a list of all the different irregulars there. So, chicos, hopefully that was clear to some degree. And just take these notes and then bring any questions that you have about the passive voice tomorrow. We'll start tomorrow doing some different activities. And then, sorry, my son's coming that way. And then we'll go from there. So, chicos, espero que tengan una buena noche y nos vemos mañana.